We have reached the end of March, which means it's time to create a reflection page in my bullet journal. The plan is to say 1 to 2 pages every month at the end of the month to document my memories, my thoughts, things that I want to reflect on. This way, it's like giving a nice warm hug to the month that you have already lived, you have experienced, and you're closing the door and moving on to the next. And it's also another excuse to use my beautiful papers and treasures in my bullet journal. But I really like the idea, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well. Your reflection page shouldn't be taken too seriously. I treat it as a collage where I can add a sentiment or a phrase and then expand upon that with my writing if I choose to. Use your papers, use your fabric, use vintage pieces that tell a story that will continue yours. On my desk, I always keep snippets of papers, magazine clipouts, vintage papers, and I even found this beautiful vintage planner a few weeks ago at a flea market. Apart from that awful lime green color, it has precious pages inside that I will use as writing areas to collage on top of my book pages for my bullet journal. One of my favorite things about March is that the cherry blossom trees begin to bloom. I always bring them inside, and they always leave their little seeds on my desk and on my table. Flipping through my vintage planner, I'm trying to figure out what day it is. Because I've been staying home the past couple of weeks, the days have honestly been feeling the same and you lose count. So luckily, thanks to technology, I figured out it was the 30th of March. Just ripping the page pretty carefully, and that's going to be glued on top of my collage, where I will write my reflection on top of it. Sometimes it's difficult to journal on top of fabric or paper, especially if you collaged it together. But using different papers to then journal upon your collage is the easiest way to document your reflection. It all started with this lovely sentiment. Love of the past implies faith in the future, which I think is perfectly adequate for the month that we have all just experienced together. Look to your past. You have a sense of what your future might be, but remember, every day is changing, and there's infinite possibilities of how your future might be, as long as there's hope and love and light throughout your soul and your being. Don't forget about pulling out your favorite washi, as it's honestly just like paper but sticky. It adds a really lovely little sense of color to your page. And I have too much washi to control myself with, so I always try to include a little bit of washi or decorative tape on each and every page in my bullet journal. I'm also adding a little bit of embossed paper on the corner just to add a little hint of blue, and then taking a marker, not too thick, not too thin, to outline my writing space, as I like to make the focal point my writing. Obviously, when you start to get your words onto paper, that's what your eye is going to go immediately towards. Get your feelings out on paper. I can't stress that enough. Your feelings are so worthy of being written in your journal. Just get it out. That's what a reflection page is all about. Don't be scared to really express how you felt during that month and things that you want to look back on and reflect back on. A super quick but meaningful reflection page to look back on in your bullet journal. In a couple of days, I will be back to share with you my April setup in my bullet journal, and wherever you are in the world, I hope you have an abundance of peace and love and health. I love you all, and I'll see you very soon.